everyone, and welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making double baked potato soup. So we need to start out with 8 potatoes washed, and then you're going to poke them with a fork just a couple of times. I have mine on a Silpat sheet, but you can put yours on a piece of foil. And we're going to bake these for about 45 minutes on 400 degrees or until they're fork tender. This has to be done before you make the soup because they have to be kind of cool to handle them to put it in the soup. So I'm going to stick these in the oven and we'll get back. It's pretty much a one pan deal, except to put the potatoes on a cookie sheet and bake them. So to start, I forgot to tell you guys last time when I put the potatoes in, I actually bake extras because sometimes when you cut them open, they're bad inside and you can't tell until after they're cooked. So always put a couple extra, and if they're all good, just go ahead and put it in. And if you need a little more liquid, just add some more broth or whatever you want to add. It's not a big deal. Soup, you can't ruin soup. So let's get started. So I have bacon here. I'm just going to be cutting it into pieces. Now this is going to go into our soup at the end. And you can also put some on top of your soup when you go to serve it. But I like to cook this, and then what I do is I cook the onion in the bacon fat. I also have 2 full heads of garlic in the oven roasting. What you do is you cut the tops off your garlic and put it on a piece of foil and drizzle it with olive oil and put salt and pepper on. Seal it really tight, put it in your oven at 400 for about 40 to 45 minutes. Then it's done. Alright, I cut up the whole pound of bacon because the boys that are eating the soup this week love bacon. So I put a whole pound in. You put as much as you want in. And I'm going to cook this till it's pretty, not totally crisp, but not really limp either. You want a bite to it because it's going to go in the soup, and you want that bite when you bite into it because the potatoes are kind of mashed in it, so you want a little bit of a bite. So I'm just going to cook this until it's done. And while I'm doing that, you can subscribe down below to help us grow our YouTube channel. It's free, so go ahead and subscribe, and you'll get new recipes each week when they come out. Alright, here's how our bacon came out. It's between crisp and soft. You want it right at that level, okay? We're going to set that aside because that's for way later. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out our potatoes. So I cut them lengthwise, and I just take a spoon and I'm going to put them into this bowl because I have some other things to cook in the pan first before we put the potatoes in. So I'm just going to carve out these potatoes, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, now that our bacon's done, I put 3 tablespoons of butter in here. I decided not to use the bacon grease myself. I think it's going to be a little bit too heavy. But you can use it. Go ahead. I'm just going to use the butter. And this is 1 chopped onion going in. We're going to cook this till it's translucent or like see-through, okay? Alright, my onions are done. I'm just going to pull this so I can show you what I do with the garlic. So my garlic is cool enough to handle. And all you do is squeeze out the insides. That's what you want in your potatoes, okay? Make sure you get it all out. There's a lot in here.
Even the caramelized bits.
Oh yeah.
That's the best part. The best part is just squeezing that out on some crusty Italian bread that's warm out of the oven.
And you can use as much or as little garlic as you want. I did 2 heads just because my family likes garlic. Alright, so to our onions, we're going to add our potatoes and garlic. Now, if you don't want to roast the garlic, you can cut it really fine, and right before the onions are done, stick it in and just cook it for just a little bit. You don't want to burn garlic. And to that, we're going to add 4 cups of chicken broth. Now, I have homemade chicken broth here, and I forgot to take it out last night, so it's froze. I'm just going to pour it in here. I portion mine out before I put it in the container so I know what's in there. If you want, I would add a little bit more to cover your potatoes. It's all up to you. And I'm going to add a little bit of Better Than Bouillon. Jack, can you get that open for me? My hands are wet. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Now don't over salt because you've got that bacon in there that's really salty. Alright, so I'm just going to add maybe 1 tablespoon of Better Than Bouillon chicken. And I'm just going to add that in there. We're going to let this cook for 20 minutes and then we'll do our next step. While this is coming up to a simmer, I just wanted to let you know I added 3 more cups of the chicken broth because I did have extra potatoes because all mine were good. And I wanted to make this go a little bit further because I have a couple more people that I wasn't really counting on to feed. So I'll just add a little bit more of your broth and it'll really help it go. Also, I don't cover it when you're getting ready to simmer it. And also, if your potato skins are whole after you get the potato out, keep them. We're going to make potato skins for lunch. Alright, so now the broth has simmered. We're going to add 3 cups of either heavy cream, half and half, or milk, whatever you have at home. I needed to use up this heavy cream and it's very expensive. I don't want it to go to waste. So pour it into your pan. And if you want to add more, you can add more. It's all up to you. So now what we're going to do, stir it, and then we're going to cook it for 20 minutes more. Do not boil it. The cream or milk will scald and burn. And you have to keep stirring it so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. And that's for 20 more minutes, okay? Alright, now that our heavy cream is warm, we're going to add a 1/3 cup of sour cream. So we're going to mix that in really well, and we're going to cook it for another 10 minutes without boiling it, okay? The heat will break up the sour cream for you, so don't worry if it's clumpy in there. It will mix in. Alright, so now our sour cream is all warm in this, and now I'm going to motorboat it. And what I'm doing is I'm going to break up the potatoes so they're really bite size or smaller. But just be careful because it's very hot. You don't want to mash them all. Let me just check it. Yeah, a little bit more. This also helps to mix in that sour cream really good. Let me check it one more time. That's perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is move this over here, like so. Alright, and I'm going to add, it calls for 1 cup of cheddar cheese, but Jack wanted me to add all of it. So I'm using mild cheddar, and I'm using unexpected cheddar cheese from Trader Joe's. And if you guys haven't tried that, it is delicious. Alright, I'm just going to mix this in. We're going to add our bacon, and the soup is done. Get our bacon. Now, I add all my bacon and all my cheese in. If you want, leave a handful of cheese or a couple handfuls of cheese and a couple handfuls of bacon aside. So when you serve the soup, you can sprinkle it on top. And also a nice addition to the top of the soup is the green onion part of the green onions. The green part, just put a little bit on top. It's really good. I'm just adding everything that we have here. I'm going to keep a little bit back for the potato skins I'm going to make. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot. And just stir it until the cheese is melted and it's ready to go. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.